Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning on this 30th of January 2022. As always, let me know if you can hear me and see me properly, or if my audio or video is not working for you. And let's get to discussing the videos of this week and any other sensible civil questions you guys might have about the discussions I talk about on my channel. We've got some regulars in the chat. Hey, David. Karu, how are you, man? Men's Health Space, Feral Male. Some of them I recognize. Martial arts orientated medicine, oriental medicine, orientated. Roman. Good to see you all. And as always, if you want to ask me a question, make sure you add a whole bunch of emojis next to the question you want me to see and look at in the chat stream, just so visually it stands out to my eye. As always, we'll talk about this week's videos that I put out. Two of them are pretty much around the same lines, the latest two, about people always saying that relationships are hard work, and by default, that's what you need to expect. So in a way, it's almost normalizing stress and incompatibility and fighting and nagging and never getting each other and excusing it as like, oh, well, that's just women. Oh, that's just what relationships are. If you don't want stress, just be on your own. And while I get that, I think a lot of people don't look at the core compatibilities that make their good friends compatible with them and easy. The people in your life that you find easy to hang around with. And also related to that, the previous one, which was a longer video, nearly 20 minutes, and people also saying that, love is just luck then. So, you're really lucky if you get someone you can stand being around all the time or that you're compatible with. Compatibility is just luck. Love is just luck. Relationships, if you enjoy it, it's just luck, or you must be in that limerence phase, the initial honeymoon period. And then the previous video, the first one in the week, was basically talking about the past and how I personally see it, how I kind of don't hold on to it. But I think the juicy topics for this week tend to be relationships hard work, or are they just dumb luck? Because there's a lot of consensus out there in today's generation that there's no point, why try? There's a lot of this nihilistic, there is no point to anything. So just kind of being inert and not striving for anything, not looking at anything, not having standards by which you might actually enjoy things in life or people. I think it's like, what's the point? You can't keep it. Well, that's true. You can't keep anything. Everything ends. But I think that a lot of those people will regret a fair bit when they get older. Or it'll be at least the low level regret where like, yeah, I could have done more. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, or whatever. Because the thing is, a lot of guys talk about how women don't realize their window of fertility, right? And they think that guys can kind of remain vibrant and young until the grave, until they're 80 or something. But there are physical windows for guys. There are seasons for all of us. Guys like to kind of get a bit too macho and think that I can be a 20-year-old in my 70s. Well, you can't. You got your summer, autumn, winter, spring seasons. And just like we can sit there and irrationally criticize most modern women, saying like, ha ha, look at you. You can't realize your spring is over. You're in the autumn and winter phase. But with guys, it's like, oh no, but it's different for us. We're young forever. Which is true. And it's not just physically, mentally as well. We go through changes, and I see a lot of guys, especially the gurus, they're holding on to their 20s. You look at the most popular male gurus out there, dating advice. They're guys my age telling you, you have to act like a 20-year-old, or they are kind of acting like a 20-year-old. And they're kind of feeding that kind of hit and run dating nightclub lifestyle, flashy cars, and all that kind of stuff. So I think both genders today. I'm not saying you need to grow up, do what you want, it's your life. But I just sort of I don't like how a lot of people are going to just feel worse and worse as they get older, and they're just going to stubbornly hold on to their past and not say, this doesn't fit anymore. Or, yeah, I like skateboarding when I was young. It's like, I'm over it now, but it's comfortable and I'm holding on to some form of comfort. I found something that I really enjoyed that was a stable factor in my 20s. And I haven't found a replacement, so I'll keep doing it again. Women do it all the time, and I think guys do it all the time as well. Sometimes your hobbies have outgrown you. You've outgrown them. And when there's nothing automatically to replace it, a lot of people just hold on to their hobbies and they just keep beating a dead horse. Again, a lot of guys talk about women doing it. Oh, look at her. She looks ridiculous. Botox. She's lost her youth and beauty, and she's strapped up like a Christmas ham, and she's in her 40s or 50s trying to club and pick up young guys and still trying to be dateable and effable. And we kind of laugh at that, but we don't self-reflect. We don't look at the mirror to that of how we might be acting, what we might need to be, we might need to let go of, not for women, but so that we can actually enjoy another season in our lives. Because a lot of people live like ghosts as a 20-year-old up here, and their 30s, 40s, 50s are leaving them. They're actually missing out on being present in the season of their lives and being the best person they can be to experience where they are. They miss out on the autumn, the winter, because they stubbornly want to be young. Look at the new SEX and the City crappy movie by all reviews today. It's kind of you are missing out on like a big half of your life because you don't know how to do anything else. You haven't got the curiosity. I don't know. It's just, again, do what you want. It's your life. I just think it's a shame. Just a shame. And it's when it gets irritating to me is where you hear the comments and people fighting you for it, saying, oh no, 60 is the new 20. Like, okay, grandma, fine. Keep getting Botoxed, keep getting used and abused by young guys, and then blaming that on men in plural. Anyway. Feral male says human compatibility versus mutual respect. Yeah, they are different, but they do fit well together. Can you really love someone you don't respect in terms of like a romantic partner? So you can be compatible in lifestyles and how you want to be, but also your temperament and personality, like your core personality traits. There's that compatibility, but I think mutual respect is like a morality, like it's between people. It's out there in society that we all agree to adopt a respectful attitude towards each other. So compatibility, I think, is much more personal. Mutual respect is much more an agreed upon rule upon which human beings can sort of relate to each other, that we can all agree is an objective, good baseline where we can get along. Moonman says too compatible means friend zone. Indifference is a good thing. I disagree. I know it's like taught by a lot of dating gurus, even if you like her, you're supposed to pretend you don't. You're supposed to be indifferent. You're supposed to neg her. You know, you're supposed to play these games. You're supposed to deny how you feel. So you're supposed to not express really what you want and who you are. You're supposed to play these games because that's unfortunately the game you need to play with women. And I say, who cares? Because the person I can completely feel comfortable and relaxed around, I don't need to put on a mask. I don't need to act with. And all the guys say, well, you'll never get a girlfriend that way. It's like, I don't care then. I'm happy on my own then. I can't act anymore. The world asks me to act in so many different ways out in public at my job. I have to put on masks to certain degrees for practical sake. Like, so, you know, you can pay the rent and you can be civil to people. But in my personal life, when I'm at home, I want to take that mask off. And I'm pretty sure most of the people who listen to my channel feel the same way. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of kind of the buzzwords in the manosphere as well. I'd rather talk about the subjects naturally from your own vocabulary rather than plucking out memes like, you know, friend zone, you know, hypergamy and things like that. Non-conformist X human. Have you taken any interest in compatibility? Things like zodiac signs, Myers-Briggs personality tests. When I look back at mine, most were not compatible. Not real. I don't really put a lot of credence into them, especially like zodiac signs and things like that. Myers-Briggs, it's kind of like a nice generalized one that people can really answer questions about their temperament and lifestyle. But I don't think it's as objectively informative as something like, you know, psychological studies, papers, things like that. Psychology, while I don't think it's science, is much better than Myers-Briggs MBTI tests. But MBTI tests, I think, are a great way in for people to be honest about who they are and actually see the difference. So it's actually, I think it's a good thing, the MBTI test, but I think it's a very, very entry-level thing. And then following that, you should really be more open in sort of a discussion. But it's a great kind of doorway. It's about a great first step, because so I don't have anything against it. Men's Health Space says, early in the relationship, you might mistake exploration, boundary setting, and learning each other's values could be classed as work. However, it should lead to compatible desire, if not bi. I don't think it should ever feel like work, really. If the real person that you could get along with is hiding it behind defensiveness because they're afraid or they're hurt in their past, they should be working past that to have done that work and be past it and be a clear and open human being, and then they can be that person with someone else. So I don't, you know, a person could be compatible with you, but they're hiding it because of layers of trauma and things they haven't addressed. Well, it's the wrong time for them then. Wrong time, wrong place. So I think it should always just be as effortless as possible. There's just every example I see in my life, my empirical evidence shows me that the couples that really get along, and they tell me from their own mouths, when I ask them, like, you guys get along really well, you guys seem like you never have any problem, and they say, yeah, it's not hard work at all. We're best friends, we're really compatible. Yeah, we have differences of opinion, but we don't fight each other. We're not competitive. We help each other. We want to. This is an important thing. I was talking with someone last night. I said, the big difference I found with compatible people is each person doesn't hold the other person at arm's length. They actually want to love them. The capital want. They want to give. They don't have walls up. You're sensible. You have your own thoughts and everything. But the other person doesn't fight you, doesn't push you away, doesn't give you ultimatums and blackmail you. It's the reflex is always wanting to put your arms around the person, wanting to love or give or be friends or do. You're always leaning in their direction. You're not neutrally defensive or pushing them away. Men's Health Space says, I see old mates from the army who hold on to those glory days. It's like they never grew up or out of it. Yeah, it's great to kind of talk about those, reference those times, but I talk about, those guys that they can't talk about anything else other than that, and they only light up when they talk about those glory days. Am I in focus or not? Okay, excuse the zoom. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I'm not showing my socks today. I'm actually not wearing socks today. It's too hot. Melbourne's been in a heat wave for the last couple of weeks. Thank you for the super chat donation, Feral Android. His comment is, great videos this week. You deserve a lot more views, just showing my support. Thank you, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed making my videos this week. And I really enjoy that you guys, liked them and got something out of them. And I'll try and do much more. Like, I think the last couple of weeks, I don't know if you guys noticed the style of my videos. I haven't tried to be too perfect with them. I've kind of sat down with an important topic, written down a few notes, read over it a few times, and then just started talking. And it's one of these personal things I want to improve and get over in my videos, is that I'm such a perfectionist that I want to deliver my videos as though, they're the final essay in my graduation, for a degree or something, that it needs to be perfect. Needs to say everything I need to say about that thing, rather than just sort of sitting down with you guys and talking about what I really think is important. So the last couple of weeks, especially this week, I've approached it with you guys like it's a very casual one-on-one chat. And I think it's translated to you guys, and I've really enjoyed doing it. So, and it's probably going to allow me to, give you more videos than trying to make every video perfect, which kind of only allows so much time for that kind of perfection. And I think most people online, especially, they enjoy, you want to be entertained, because I can get a lot of enjoyment and perfection out of the craft of the audio and the video and making it look a certain way, and, structuring the beginning, middle and end of the stories and the messages and things like that. But the actual delivery of it is something I've been wanting to relax with, because that's my own personal perfectionist that I'm always trying to loosen and adjust, because a lot of the perfectionist side of me, while the instinct is, no, perfection is good, with anything to do with human beings, it's actually the opposite. It's almost counterintuitive. Whereas when I sit down and it's just me alone with a bit of paper, or focusing on a bit of tech with a magnifying glass and dialing something in, that's very addictive and obsessive for a guy, and I love that kind of perfectionism. But when it's got to do with human communication, the opposite is true, and it's very hard for the male perfectionist mind to reconcile that. And I think that's a lot of the kind of Buddhist and philosophical streams teach that letting go, especially Stoicism. Separating what you can and can't control. And it's a really good sort of simplifier. So I've noticed that with myself. The perfectionism is like split into two parts in life: human interaction, and on my own, in my own little mental bubble, my obsessive little mental world. Prince Revolver says, "Human, when are you going to get into crypto and become a millionaire?" Ahmed Ghost says, "Do you think men can truly come to terms with never successfully having a committed woman, or is that hope inherent in them?" Look, I think the best you can do, and what I've tried to do over the recent years, is just be very realistic. Say, this is the only thing that's going to work if it ever comes my way. So it's kind of really knowing what works and what doesn't for you, because you can parallel that to your friends and family and other things in your life that do work, where you feel comfortable and you say, no, this is my life and it's set. I know how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. This isn't a fad. I haven't just discovered, a new video game, but you've discovered, or you know that video games in general have been with you from when you're young to now, and they'll always be with you. It's having this sense of where you belong in your life, and then looking for that parallel that may or probably might not come into your life. Because as I said, 99% of women out there aren't great. The general women, I mean, people who want to think very personally and take responsibility of their lives, it's very much looking at you as an individual and being very specific about your singularity. That means 99% of what's out there probably is not going to be compatible with you, or at least 95% is going to be incompatible, and you'll be able to kind of make compromises with a remaining 4%. So when you get specific and responsible, you narrow your choices because you're becoming real about yourself. So unfortunately, I'd say become realistic about the chances, but don't overdo it to make yourself make the answer too simplistic. Say, I will never find anyone if you really want someone, or all women are bad, or all women are awful. Be honest about the reality out there. Be honest about the statistics out there. Be honest about your empirical experience. Be honest that there's such a slim chance that there's no point even focusing or worrying about it. I got to that point. I don't care anymore. It's so ridiculously a small chance that I don't care anymore. And it just frees you up. So being realistic about life is better. For me, if you want to be binary, it's kind of like, what's the difference between being overly romantic and saying like, yeah, women are great and men are great and rainbows and unicorns, or being the opposite end and saying like everything's rubbish. Like they're both unrealistic, and they're both very idealistically naive to me. I think you need to know yourself and know the nuance of reality in between and where you sit in it, your life. I'm amazed at how little people are interested in their own lives and where they sit in the reality of it. Feral Android says, I get the feeling that humans' life would not change if he had more money. Nah, the only thing I would upgrade really is my house. I would get my forever house where I'd never need to move. I like long-term consistency. I mean, I like my house at the moment, but that would be the only thing. Just multiply my house by buying another one 3 to 5-fold, so I never have to worry about moving. Because right now, I think I'm at my limit of room because, I use this study for what it is. I've got another room for storage and testing and doing other things. The other room's my bedroom. And people would say like, oh, for a 3-bedroom house, that's plenty of room for a guy living on his own. And I'd say, yeah, but I do a lot of things. And I've got a lot of books. I've got a lot of stuff that I tinker around with. So, yeah, I think I would only upgrade my house. Maybe I'd upgrade my car in a year or two, but it'd sort of be a similar car. I wouldn't sort of jump into another lifestyle and get like a Bugatti Veyron or something. I'm a very practical person. One thing my parents have taught me is that the simplicity and contentment of life, needing very, very little, is where life is at. That's where happiness and contentment is. Because very, very little can be taken away from you from a very low contented base point where what can people take away from me now? I mean, life can take away bits of my health, yeah, but that happens to everyone. But in terms of being so, feeling a level of stability and control and responsibility of your life, I like that kind of base. I don't like having debt. I don't like recklessness, reckless risk and things like that. Just the Guy says you always prioritize attraction in a romantic relationships, not compatibility. Otherwise, it's a platonic thing. And you can't have the best of both worlds because of scarcity. If I read you correctly, I kind of have a different take. Um, I kind of I understand the very immediate, like, neurological, hormonal hit of, oh, she's attractive. I find her attractive. She's hot, right? But it's very different to kind of going, okay, am I going to talk to her? Is this a person I'm going to start seeing? The reality of, okay, is this real? In the same way, like, you can go online and watch porn, but you kind of know it's entertaining. And I think when you get older, certainly me, I can get a buzz out of an attractive woman, but it's entertainment for me. Even, like, I realize what's real and what's just art, what's entertainment, what looks good, but what's me? Can I live with this person? Can I be with them? What's it going to be like to talk to them? So I don't think it's just attraction. Again, maybe it's me, because I'm determined to have more control over how I feel. Like, I like feeling a certain way, but I like also knowing how I can go about setting boundaries to it, allowing feelings to come in when, it's past the test. So my mind always intrudes. My boundaries and logic always intrude. So yeah, things feel good, but they feel good to a certain degree, not until here. It's fine looking at something. It's fine enjoying entertainment, but there's a very difference between the tactility of introducing it into your own life and then the cause and effect of that. This is the thing. You can't just kind of give in to emotion without practicality as well, because you show little respect for the life you have and what you've built and the structure you might have in your life. Or even the people you care about, your family and friends, introducing anyone into them and then constantly disappointing and frustrating them by, all these dumb strangers coming in and out of your life. At some point, you've got to refine your standards, I think, for yourself and the people you care about. Anel says, I saw a comment on your video, um, relationships are hard work, where someone said women prefer hypergamy over compatibility. Do you think that's true? Possibly. I'd say the majority of women today, look, I mentioned before, there's very few women that actually want to give love. Most women are just takers. They just take, just like their biology. I think their mentality wants to receive, and that's it. They want to give precious little. And I think Patrice O'Neill said it. Women are good at passively attracting men, but they're terrible at keeping men. And the keeping someone is being fair and loving and giving. Someone gives to you, you give back. You keep that cycle going. I talk, you listen. I talk, you listen. A conversation happens. You don't just talk at me. I don't just talk at you. You don't just take. Women today, the average woman is a one-way street of give me, give me, give me, give me. And then an entitled kind of resentment afterwards, like I'm bored or he doesn't give anymore. So I think today's women are much more monkey branches than our grandparents were, just because there's no rules for women anymore. When women are left to act any way they want, they don't act well, and then society and the women in charge and the memes and the so-called the way to be today that's telling women is like, no, ramp up your obnoxiousness. You're not being obnoxious. You're asserting, the guys are intimidated by you. Like, no, you're an awful person. Like, do you have many friends? What do you talk about? Do you backstab other people? What kind of person are you? JJ said, the enemy of good is not bad. The enemy of good is perfect. Yeah, I think I've heard one or two YouTubers, not in the male space, but generally, vloggers, when they're discussing about the, getting burnout and being perfectionists in producing content or things. A common thing I've heard is good is better than perfect, or done is better than perfect. And I really subscribe to that point of view. I know with myself, the more I relax and trust that I'm just going to get better and better at my craft, faster, more skillful, refined, find different workflows, things like that, I will get more refined and better. But it's pointless aiming for perfect. I'm not a target-orientated person. I'm a direction-orientated person. And I think that allows me to enjoy moments much more. I'm not focused. I'm not future-focused as a person. I'm sensibly future kind of cognizant. You know, I'm aware of it, and you know, I'll plan to sort of like in a proximal degree. Like I know, like this week, this month, and that'll lead to that'll probably lead to a good next month and next year, and so on and so forth. So I'm kind of aware of the concatenation effect of good present decisions, but I'm not kind of blind to now, and I'm focusing on my 5-year plan. Where am I going to be in 10 years? You know, I want to be a millionaire by this. You know, I don't know. I'm just not. I don't have that chip in me, and I find it alien when guys get really excited about that kind of stuff. Roman, I think he's a Melburnian. He says, off topic, but what really irritates me over the last few days are those people who have jumped on the Ash Barty bandwagon after her Australian Open win. Yeah. I haven't watched the Australian Open at all this summer. It's just become so boring. And also the whole garbage about them kicking out Novak Djokovic. I just have even less desire to watch that. So I think they go on about Ash Barty. Whenever they have... Australians are very proud whenever they have, which is fine. They're very proud of when, you know, they've got an Australian sort of in the finals or something, which is good. But it's also interesting when you look at who they hate. Like, for instance, the way they treated Novak Djokovic. As like, the guy is one of the nicest guys in tennis, and they keep trying to paint him like a villain. Like, I can't stand the media. It just annoys me. Anyway. A. Nell says, have you ever heard of Sternbergs' triangular theory of love? No, I have not. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. It helps the channel out. Subscribe. Basically, YouTube is very good at seeing if you're not interacting with the channel, if you're not commenting, if you're not hitting the like, if you're not subscribing. If you just sit there passively just watching videos without interacting in any other way, I think their system just starts unsubscribing you or starts feeding you less of the content of that channel if you don't interact with it. I know it's silly, but that's just the way it is. Sorry. So if you can, give me a like if you enjoyed the video. Give me a dislike if you didn't enjoy the video, please. I don't care. Just interact with the video. That's all I ask. Men's Health Space says, do you think your risk aversion affects your expectations of the value of compatibility human? Yes, I think so. It's a big part of me. I like calmness. I'm very, very much reckless averse. I'm not very, like, I'm not low level risk averse. I'm very sensible, but yeah, I'm very conflict avoidant. I like to get along. I don't like debating people. I'd rather have a conversation. I don't need to be right. I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert. I don't want to fight against people. So all of those things, for sure, they have they affect my expectations of compatibility. So I expect a compatible person to reflect and get along with my personality traits, because I can't just become a person who loves competitiveness and taking massive risks and you know, instability in my life. Start embracing it. I actually need to. I'm always practicing counterintuitively getting over the traits that are actually holding me back. For instance, next week I've got major dental surgery, and it's really playing on my mind, but I have to stoically always remind myself to always do the thing I don't want to do because it's the right thing to do, and I have to do it. And I'll feel even worse as time goes on when I don't. So they're my challenges. So yeah, my personality traits highly affect my expectations of what I find compatible. In fact, I know they do, because then I know what is compatible with me. I know if I'm attracted to someone, then I look at my traits and my values, and then I can go, I know, like I actually like knowing why I feel a certain way. I like understanding how I feel. I don't just like feeling how I feel. And that's fine once I understand, say you're with someone you care about, you understand them, then you're even more free to not think about why you feel the way you feel, because you're already set your framework about how you interact with this person. So you just kind of let yourself go with feelings. But initially, when the thing is new or the person's new, when you're figuring out, is this going to be something I want in my life? Is this going to be something that's compatible with my life or someone? Then the initial thing is I want to understand that it is, because I don't like wasting time. I don't like wasting another person's time. I can't just kind of say, whatever. You'd think as you get older, you'd start knowing what you want more, and you say whatever less and less. Anel says, human, in your video, is love just dumb luck? Someone said, honor is a male concept. A woman who breaks her word doesn't necessarily get punished for it like a man does. You agree? Yeah, but a man should punish a woman who breaks her word, maybe not in the same way that a man would punish a man, but he should let her know that it's unacceptable, just like I'm sure guys let each other know when we find something unacceptable. Daniel says, do you even look for compatibility with someone? The title of today's video, do you even look for compatibility with someone? And Daniel says, no, I personally just care about physical attractiveness. Well, okay. But also, that's a very easy, first thing, I believe, because, I want long-term. I don't like giving so much time to female strangers. I don't know why guys get off on it so much. Like, I don't care about women. I care about myself. But I rotate, 5 or 10 women every month. It's like, you care a lot about women as far as I can see. That takes up a lot of time. I want one woman, set and forget, and get on with my life with her, where I'm not stressed and it's comfortable and compatible. I don't get this obsession with spending so much time with, like, that first step of attractiveness. That's like the first, yeah, I think she's attractive. I like the way she looks. My biology thinks she's hot. She, it wants to go to bed with her. Done. That's not hard. The hard stuff is mentally attracted. You can talk with her, you get along, you're agreeable. But the hardest thing, the third one, is wanting the same things out of life, your values and virtues about who you are at your core. But if you just kind of, you do the shallow thing, which is nothing wrong with shallowness, fine, as long as you're aware of it. But if you're just rotating that first very easy step of, ooh, hot, ooh, hot, ooh, hot, attractive, want to go to bed with her, that's easy, that's entertaining. That's kind of like watching an action movie. Explosion, explosion, explosion. Fine, as long as you're aware. But you get the results of just having that as a standard. Let me just say that. Michael says, ever felt like abandoning thinking entirely, just go on that ride without a second thought? I did a lot of that. I don't have the luxury of time anymore. So I did that a lot. Teens, 20s, very early 30s. And then by my mid 30s, I realized, I'm passing the midpoint in my life. If you want to ask a question, guys, please add a whole bunch of emojis so I can actually see it's a question directed toward me. Wrong coffee. Mr. Highway, do you believe that opposites attract or that birds of a feather flock together? I believe the latter. I think the foreign, like the opposites attract thing is like a holiday. Holidays are great. Foreign things they're a nice thrill. You know, you watch a horror movie, it's a great thrill. But okay, how do you want to live? Where is your real life? You can be into real kind of extreme or fetishistic porn online, but think about it. Would you want to do it in real life, or is it just a thrill? So the opposites attract thing, I think, is that human predilection towards the new, the entertaining, the fetishistic and things like that. But I would say, as a general rule, if we're talking about the stability of life, what is real, your ethics, virtues, philosophically speaking, what is right, what is stable, where happiness resides, and consistency, I would say birds of a feather would accommodate all of that. Opposites attract is too much unpredictability, chaos, change. That's women believe a lot of that, I think. And I'm basically more of a birds of a feather flock together kind of person, for the kind of friends and family and life and stuff that I appreciate. I'm a long-term kind of guy. I don't like just throwing away things every day and every week. And especially like a lot of the stuff people ask me like, oh, where'd you learn to do this? Or how did you get good at that? I spent time with it. Like I value something. I don't just kind of like treat it like crap and then throw it away. And now I just spilt my coffee. That's great. Great. Nothing like being live. Cool. This will be a good stream. Luckily, it just missed my keyboard. Anyway. Whatever. It's getting hot in here, but I don't want to turn on the fan because then you'll hear it. Oh, there we go. Ahmed Ghost said it well. He says, opposites might attract sometimes, but they don't last. They don't. Opposites don't attract. Opposites who attract don't last. I think that's a pretty solid, not rule, but a truth, I'd say. There are exceptions, right? I know. But are you going to try and find happiness by going towards, especially like a stable happiness? Like if you want to find someone in your life, if you want consistency, you are better going to the middle of the bell curve, the average way of doing things where success is kind of more probabilistically guaranteed, rather than the romantic woman version of like, no, I know there's like an easy way to get along with men and have a relationship and have kids if I want, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to do it the hardest way. I'm going to wait for the fringe when time's almost up because I want it to be this romantic Hail Mary last minute thing that happened magically like a movie, and I can tell all my girlfriends and they can be envious of me. Like, yeah, live your life like that, and 99.999% recurring of you will fail. You won't be that celebrity that can show off to your other girlfriends. Tokyo Traveler says, I feel similarly to you. I don't understand women's need to challenge everything, usually through conflict. I can find challenge in my work, interests, and hobbies. I want peace at home. Exactly. My ex-girlfriend was like that. She really thought partners should challenge each other. Partners really should. That's one of the core values. You should, and to her it was like lively and interesting, and I thought it was conversation, but no, it was about being antagonistic. I would say, let's go left. She'd say, no, I want to go right. It was always the opposite. I think I've told the story, which kind of really cemented who she was, and she admitted it. One time we were ready to go out, and she brought out 2 tops, and I think one was green and one was blue, and said, which one do you prefer I wear? And I said, the blue one. And then she went into the bedroom and came out wearing the green one. And I said, like, next time, can you just tell me what you want me to say? don't pretend to ask for my opinion. And she laughed and she said, like, yeah, my friends say I'm like that. I'm always very stubborn, and I picked the opposite and I kind of knew that it was a way of her asserting her individuality, and that was her reflex. So she would always resist compatibility, like, not compatibility. She would always resist cooperation with me and caring or loving or getting along, which would result in her life being crap with me. But a person who doesn't want to look at their own behavior like that, I'm not going to treat them like a parent. Like, I don't like being with a child where they can't be responsible for sort of the caretaking of a relationship. Like, I want to care about the person I'm with. I don't want to care about everything. And they're just this child that's spilling coffee and, smearing chocolate cake on the walls and screaming and saying it's all your fault, while they're the ones that are doing it all. I spilt my coffee. I think it was fortuitous that I actually made another one. This is one I prepared earlier. And the lesson is, put the coffee away over onto the side where you've got less chance of spilling it. Dave says, I've just had major dental surgery, had my gums deep cleaned and also cut away. Just ask for more anesthetic if it hurts. Also got root canals, weren't too bad. Yeah, I'm getting my front 3 teeth removed because I've got infections in the root and it's spreading. And if I don't get it looked at now, in the next couple of years, it's going to be sort of like, it can be dangerous, like it can spread, So it's one of these things, like, I don't want to do it. And I don't know how it's going to affect my speech, how long it's going to take to. So I may sort of slow down in the amount of videos I bring out. I might have a lisp in my voice because I'm going to have a plate there for a few months by the time the surgery heals, so that then they can put the implants in. So I'm going to have 3 implants put at the front of my mouth. So not looking forward to it at all. But again, stoically do what needs to be done. But you don't want to do because you know it's the right thing to do. Just do it. Because I know I'm going to be a lot happier later. I'm going to be so grateful I took the courage to do it. And again, you've got this stuff isn't just talk, guys. It's very applicable. This philosophical understanding, this development of ethics in your life that you know is right. Don't just go with the flow. Don't just leave it up to your feelings of being attractive and your safe ethic is pump and dump because you'll never have to risk being hurt. Like, really do what's right, develop, strong ethics that you can change and modify, but be as righteously honest about how you want to live and what's correct. And trust your empirical evidence. Don't just trust the gurus out there, the 12-step program, or what the media tell you, or what girl power says. I know you don't sort of really trust the latter, but trust yourself. Yeah, JJ says, attractiveness is the wrapping on a Christmas present. You open it up and see what's inside. That is a great comment, which I'm going to pin. Well said, JJ. Attractiveness is just the wrapping on a Christmas present. Everything after that, when you open it up, that's the real thing. And if you guys, it's no better than we joke about women, like, would they buy a car that's just red? And we laugh at them. But men said, like, I only care that she's attractive. It's like, you're a woman buying a red car. It's as irrational, because the thing isn't just something to look at. The thing, whether it's a car or a woman, it's functional. Us men, we don't complain about the unfairness of how she looks, although there's some guys, there's the obvious, the morbidly obese or the anorexic woman. Fair enough, the extremes. But 99% of guys, 99.9% of guys, we all have a problem with how the thing works, how the thing breaks down, how it lies, how it doesn't. So guys saying, oh, well, my standard is the looks. The looks is the easy thing. The stuff that you're lazy about, that you complain about, is the way it works. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, don't you see what you're frustrated by? I'm going to pretend like it's kind of like an iceberg. Like, it's even worse than an iceberg because I think the iceberg's like 70 or 80% underwater. Picture an iceberg, and that's a relationship or women for most guys today. The way the dude bro pickup artists like the dating channels talk. A woman is like 99% underwater, and the guy said, no, all I care about is that tip that's poking above the water. You know, I don't care about like the rest of the iceberg that I'll have to live with and be with and risk. That is the risk you're taking. 99% of risk, but you only care about that 1% of the easy shit on top. It's insane to me. You talk about risk, that's risk to me. Ignoring 99% of the female iceberg. Do what you want, guys. But please don't email me or be in the comments telling me how you're part of this pickup artist, like pump and dump, make money, get jacked, be an alpha dude bro, and some woman can't be trusted, or she broke your heart, or I tried to give her everything, I tried to be the good guy. No, you didn't. That guy Pete you refused to invite to gatherings said, one of the uncomfortable realities is entertaining the idea that we may very well die alone. Does that thought frighten you? I have made peace with that. I'm curious. No. And I think it's one of the pillars of meditations in Stoicism is memento mori. Just know that you will die one day. We all will. And an interesting thought is all the people you hate, they'll die too. Don't worry about it. Let it go. You'll die, everyone will. We're all in the same boat, which means treat everyone, just relax, will you? Just treat everyone the same. And if just walk away from them, don't get angry, don't fight them, don't force them to be the way you want them to be. You and everyone you care about will die, but everyone you dislike, they're going to die too. So just relax about it all. Is human drunk? Am I talkative? I was actually wondering whether I was going to be, switched on because I went to bed later than I should have last night. And yeah, I was wondering if I'm going to be kind of all there today. But apparently, that's another reason why I made 2 coffees, I suppose. No, I'm not drunk. I don't drink alcohol. Mr. Highway says, human handled that coffee spilling like a true stoic. Did I? I can't even remember what I said. Well, again, like, I would say, like, I'm trying to reflect on that. Like, something like that happening in the moment where a person just reacts instinctively. Imagine you're on a date with someone and something like that happens. They spill their drink. Someone's rude to them. The waitress. There's a loud noise. A car goes by. Something where their real nature is revealed by that kind of moment, that accidental moment that they can't control. It's just a spontaneous moment like that, me spilling my coffee. Those are very important things to see on aggregate when they happen over and over again with a person you're with or that you're trying to consider being in a relationship with. See how she reacts naturally in those moments where she can't really lie. Her natural reaction comes out. Temper, impatience, things like that. That's really, really important to keep an eye on too. Martial arts, oriental medicine says, your orange red like keyboard is totally cool. Oh yeah, I think you mean my other one, not this one. This one is different. I think I know which one you mean. Everyone likes that one for some reason. I like it too. But I think those are easy to actually find the keycaps to. So if you want to make that keyboard, it's very easy to find those keycaps. I think if you want to build that color keyboard, the keycaps are called carbon. If you look it up, carbon PBT keycaps. And you can build the same kind of keyboard look. Oh, come on. Just the guy says, so the goal is relationship that lasts 25 plus years. You sure that's what you want? I feel comfortable with long term. That's stable. I like making sense of things. I mean, do you really think I would have long-term interest in my channel, have developed the things that I think about? Like, everything to me is a library that you build upon, and you can adjust and throw things out. But for me, it's like I don't get the preoccupation with social media and today's generation where they flick past everything. Everything is momentary, and that's their mindset. And fine if that's you, but you get the results of that too. I can understand why today's generation that loves flicking left and right, up and down, and they don't have an attention span for anything long-term, gaining knowledge over long-term, accruing a lot, having experience, wanting things to last a long time. Because wanting the space for something to grow and develop and learn and you know, accrue a lot of stuff, that takes patience and time, and you've got to be in it for long-term gain and stability, and you've got to know that that's you, and you like that amount of time to enjoy that thing or to gain that thing. But if you just want quick fixes, that's your life, they're the dopamine hits you live for, and you don't really like long-term, you have to be sensible enough, I'd say, to realize that the results of that lifestyle aren't going to be what I get. So a lot of guys who can't be anything other than short-term, they'll probably look at someone like me and go, human's just acting, he's just different, I can't be like him. Fair enough. But you also won't understand the joy and the benefits I get from sitting still with long-term anything, people, routines. Like, I know who I am, what I love, what I like, because I value the long-term, which cements me knowing absolutely what I like. I know it's not transitory. But if you're just kind of shopping through life, you know, flicking, you like a lot of stuff. You like stimulation. But I might see love and who I am and what I value is different. But I think I have, some might say, a stubborn, immovable stance on that. But I feel good. I'm very simplistic. I don't need a lot. I kind of have a very narrow corridor in terms of I know what fits with me. I'm not always rolling the dice all the time. I can have adventures, but I know how I want to have adventures now. Like I said, in my 20s and early 30s and teens, and like, I had fun exploring, finding out who I was. At some point, you think, you know, you want to take all that and then move to a stage in your life where you can really sit still, tinker, and become the best constant person. And you would have had enough time to figure out which direction you want to orientate yourself in. JJ says, to be blunt, the vast majority of women are effing idiots. I'm not going to disagree with you, JJ, at all. It's very hard to spend time with the average woman because she can't sit still. Doesn't stand for anything, changes her mind. She doesn't lie though, according to her, she just changes her mind. She's so, like, women today are, like, the average woman, I can understand why guys find it so hard that they play this game now. Like, women play this unpredictable lying game, manipulative game, but they want men to not lie. They want men to be honest, but they keep doing it. Now men are doing it. These dating gurus, how to get women, like how to manipulate women, how to get what you want, because women are playing a game. Hey guys, let's play a game too. Let's not care about them. Let's just look out and get what we want, and who gives a crap about them. Women have been doing it for a while now, for about 50 to 60 years. We've got to catch up, and men have caught up now. Men are treating women as badly as girl power has been treating men, and that's now the majority of women out there. So it's just a mess. So you're better off being alone. Develop your very, very narrow corridor of what works for you in your life, and the only way someone's going to come in, I think that the best way I described it to someone was like, I locked the door a few years ago. I closed the door on relationships a few years ago, but I didn't lock it. But it was basically closed. I didn't care anymore. Just really know who you are and what works for you. Try and have an interest in it. Otherwise, you're just going to be led around with whatever comes along. You're going to try it on. It's crap again. You know, same crap, different smell. It's the same movie, same genre, different movie. And you know, learn what genre you like and stop trying everything all the time again and again and again. Hit the like button, guys. Do us a favor. Rebound Sound said, what do you think about the idea that a woman would create a conflict to prove to herself the man she's with is still a dominant one when a native social environment is missing? I understand the logic, but I would say a woman that's testing you is either she's got a lot of issues with herself that she's not dealing, and she requires you to take on all the responsibility of safety and making the world safe. Or she's learned that she's always picking guys that are unsafe because she wants to be on her own. She wants to be independent, alone, and continually date and have fun at the party past her 20s, 30s, 40s. A lot of people just want to remain young. Like I said before, no one wants to move into the other seasons in their lives. They want to remain in spring and summer. Autumn and winter, they completely bypass it, and they just want to rinse and repeat summer and spring. And they play the naive games as an older person, which is really, really clownish. Lord Tenedor says, do you really want us to connect with women? No, I don't want you to do anything that I say. I just want you to think as a guy, as you, and don't lie about what you really do want and what don't want, and then set the parameters for that. So for instance, if you're a guy that wants, say, to have a family, I don't, and you're really honest about it, there's like a liberating clarity to that. Like, yeah, like I'm just going to be honest about it with myself. And then you start translating it to the people you deal with or don't deal with. And then you'll get better quality of people in your life if you choose to be with them. I'm not telling you that you need to connect with women, not at all. If you want to stay on your own, like, more power to you, but just do it where you're being completely honest. You're not sort of really trying to Tony Robbins your way through something and force yourself. Like, we resist things that we don't like being told what to do. And we don't like being told what to do in our own head either. Like, we just kind of resist it. We're stubborn. But if you're honest, you know. Ted1775 said, Human, in your chat with Spetsnaz, I heard you say that philosophy is the best way for men to self-protect and handle modern relationships. Yeah. In today's environment where there's so much BS in terms of censorship and talking, and you can't say that, or it's not what you said, it's how you said. It's all about feelings. Like, truth doesn't matter. It's how someone feels about it. Reality doesn't matter. The only way you're going to make sense of your life and stay sane is develop your own moral philosophy and the way you deal with people. Know who you are, develop your ethics, and then from that, develop your philosophical morality, like with people. Because if you don't sort of know how you're going to interact, how you think, and how you're going to speak, and how you're going to stand up for what you believe, like, everyone else is just going to treat you like a piñata. Feral Male says, would you want a horribly unreliable supercar as your daily driver? That's a great analogy, Feral Male. Yeah, like a supercar's great, but if you're going to drive it every day, it's the most impractical car you can have. That's a reason why sensible guys might have a weekend car like that they need to fine-tune and prepare for the weekend. But it's a car for one day. It's not a car you have every day to drive. That's a great analogy. I'm going to actually write that down. Don't mind me, guys. I'm just having a live stream. That's a great way to do a live stream. Just waste time writing. Hey guys, switch on the camera. Don't mind me. I'm just writing and thinking about my next video. And you just write for an hour and a half. Well, I remember someone saying that, like, writers, when they're just looking out the window, there was one writer, I can't remember who it was, and one of his wives, it could have been Norman Mailer, and at one point he was just like sitting in his room and he was staring out the window for hours, and his wife noticed him prior, and then she went past his room and a couple of hours later and said, "You're still sitting there, like, aren't you going to write?" And he said, he goes, "Yeah, I have been writing for the last few hours." And it kind of says that, like, people who like writing and thinking they're always writing, even if they're actually not in a haptic sense, you know, translating it to the page. Landitis one says, I apologize if you could hear some motorbike going past my house. He says, how did the women you dated, the ones being under 40 years old anyway, in the past, react to hearing you not wanting kids? Was that a deal breaker for them? Probably, but that probably didn't go past the first date, because I was very, if I'm going on a date, it was usually for, you know, a prospective girlfriend or wanting to be in a relationship to see if I'm compatible with somebody. And I'm very honest right from the start. I'll tell you the big things about my personality, my lifestyles, and my values, to see if their eyes prick up and they kind of look at me odd or surprised. And that kind of tells me, well, okay, this person's probably not for me. And then I explore the subject more, and they're like, oh, do you want kids? And blah, blah, blah. So just, if they didn't want it, like, who cares? Like, they want something else. Like, I'm not being glib about this. Women have never been a prize for me. The prize for me is the hypothetical person down the line that I'm compatible with. That's like a relief, you know? But initially when I meet a woman that I find attractive, she's not a prize for me. She might be exciting or interesting. She's like this new person I meet. But she's not someone like, oh my, don't go away. You know, I'll say anything, just don't leave me. She might become something you value later, but she's not a prize right from the get-go. I don't sort of get that valuing something like that. Like, I value a female stranger in a miniskirt who looks attractive. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. As many women have told me, I think too much, which probably made it hard for some of them. I'm sure a lot of them were deterred by this, me, you know, spewing all of my personality out. And it's like, you know, take the avalanche. This is me. Take it, baby. On the first date. Yeah, I'm not gentle on the first date in terms of me as a person. I kind of let a woman have everything from me, good or bad. Like, I don't want to waste time. Like, if you like this, there might be a chance. If this is confronting, and especially if you don't like my values and ethics, like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I do want this. This is what I expect from men and women. This is what I think works. This is rational. I don't like women like this. And then she can kind of say, well, that's what I'm like. Or, really? You don't like it when no, I don't like it because I don't think this work. And she can kind of tell I'm not going to put up with stuff. I kind of know what I like and what works. I'm not vague about things. And she can't lead me with looks and what's between her legs. Like, that's really not something that's going to make me want to be with you. Oh, JJ says 90% of an iceberg is underwater. Okay. I thought it was less than that. But yeah, 90%. That makes sense. When I look at visually the picture of an iceberg, yeah, 90%. Well, today, if a woman was an iceberg, 99% of her would be underwater. And men only care about the tip. And that 99% that you pick up artists, you Chad, make money, get jacked gurus talk about, like you want to talk about risk, 99% of risk compared to me focusing as much as I can as to what's under the surface of the water. Like the tip of the iceberg is bait. That's the worm on the fishing hook. You know, ignore the bait. We know what the bait is. Every guy, even on those channels, the pickup artist channels, they know that it's bait, but they want to pretend, yeah, but we like the bait, and you know we can manipulate the bait, and who cares about the philosophical, personality, values-based stuff? That's 90% of the iceberg. I do. This is the other thing, you know, human. I've had a lot of long-term relationships, and I've kind of had my boundaries. Like, I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've been lucky, but if I acted like a lot of these kind of guys that just went for the superficial tip of the iceberg, I would guarantee I would have a couple of kids with exes and, you know, been divorced 3 times, and I would have just made a dumpster fire of mistakes. So is it luck, or did I mitigate a lot of bad things? Did I make a lot of my luck? Not perfect, you know. It's not like I've been sane enough to pick to hold out and I found the love of my life at 25. I've made mistakes. There's a lot of timing involved, but be as sensible as you can. This is your life, guys. Like, if you don't care about your life, do what these, you know, emotionally based, hormonal based chads tell you to do, and what women tell you to do, and just give in to biology. Fine. Don't care about it. But then later, when you're kicked to the curb and you're destroyed, don't try to care about it then. Then you get philosophical when you're licking your wounds, and as soon as your wounds are healed, you throw ethics and moral philosophy out the window, and then you just go about dating and going about your life the way you did in your teens. Who cares? Yeah, well, I do. Getting really warm, and I'm drinking coffee. David says, do you agree with the observation, watch how she treats waitstaff, is she rude to them, walk away? Yeah, watch how she treats waitstaff, watch how she gets surprised, look at her patience, look at her empathy towards you. If you're talking about not even you or her, you're talking about a couple, or she might be talking about a man and a woman or reality TV show and a situation, and see where her morals and values lie. Are they outside of yours? Does she laugh at something that you feel sympathy towards? Does she have any sympathy or empathy? Can she see things from your point of view? Can you see things from her point of view? That's, you know, is she fair? Is she a human being, or is she a parasite? JJ says, human, you also have the luxury of not needing a time-consuming 9-to-5 job, and you use your time productively for yourself. Yeah, that's true, but I kind of designed my life that way as well. Whether I was stubborn about it or not. No matter how much I didn't know when I was younger, I kind of had an instinct of, if I cross this line, there's no going back. I can try a lot of stuff. I can give people a chance. I can give these women a chance. I can find out who I am. Yeah, give this hot, attractive woman a shot, because like all my hormones are saying yes, as long as I stay as safe as I possibly can in this situation. But I'm not going to do something reckless. You know, like a lot of guys are, you know, they bareback a stripper and blow in her, and there's like, oh my God, she's pregnant. It's like, yeah, who would have thought, you moron? It's kind of like, if you don't care about your life, like, how am I supposed to care about you taking something seriously? Where you start trying to say, well, yeah, like women are this and that, and you know, this isn't fair. And then you look at a guy's standard, it's like you are acting worse, or you're acting like the worst kind of woman, but as a guy. And then when things don't work out for you, you put on this mask of stoicism and wanting to make sense of things. It's like, come on. When you're young, you do it once or twice, but if you just keep recycling the no responsibility card, I don't know how seriously I can take you. I want guys to think and improve their lives. I don't want them to Groundhog Day mistakes over and over again. Zaman 2020 says, I'm finding it very hard to move on from my ex. I feel like I've done everything possible I could to make her happy. I'm not really missing her, but I'm missing out on a lot of my son's life. I think you mentioned this before, Zaman. My sympathy towards you, because you've got a son especially. So you're almost forced to be anchored to, like, it's one thing where you can let time heal you and it's still painful, and you can kind of let her go and you can get on with life, and slowly time and distance can let you. But if you have to be forced back with her because of your son to see her, and then one day you see her with someone else, she's found a new boyfriend, or another guy is with her and he's around your son as well. It's like a real, it messes with your head. I kind of have sympathy for you. All I can say is surround yourself with good people. Don't spend a lot of time alone. And keep yourself active. Go for a walk. Don't listen to negative podcasts and stuff a lot. It might kind of give you a defensive buzz to feel strong against your ex, like give her the finger. But do what's going to help you get better over time. Not that's going to keep pulling you back to tension and fighting and resentment and pain. Think is a brick. This is a bricko, says, thinking of what you said about toxic GFs and realize I have one with my cat. I had one with my cat. She was feral and ticked all the crazy boxes, but at least on the cat she had redemptive qualities like humor. Elusive Man says, I'm a long-term commitment guy. I never found flings appealing. Me neither. But the Wicked Games, Chris Isaac's song, Women Play, damn, yeah. Rebound Sound says, Human, my question about the conflict was about it being created in stable relationships, past the initial crap tests, particularly when indication of dominance is missing around friends. I would say, well, that would kind of suggest to me that initially you or her, but I'm assuming in this case her, she was on her best behavior. And then once that limerence honeymoon phase ended, then she started kind of not being happy with who you are. I don't really think, if you've kept your eyes open, you've been completely open and honest with each other in that during that limerence and honeymoon phase, allow the relationship to stabilize to boring, routine day to day. I don't think later on I buy the excuse of, now they're crap testing you because they're not sure. I think they weren't being real until later. I think if you're very honest about being willing to lose a relationship at the start because you want to be completely honest about everything, and then by the time the thrill wears off and it resides back into stability and routine, you shouldn't need proof later on. You should have gotten all your proof at the start. That's my thinking anyway. But I realize that that's the theory, that women do that to kind of test if you're still a man. But if she still doubts who she's with, she doesn't feel secure, she doesn't trust she's with the right guy, I think a lot of that's on her, that she might have actually not been herself at the start. She was just being passive, quiet, putting on an agreeable mask, enjoying the thrill of the limerence phase, the honeymoon period, and then later on, when it's like women after they get married, it's almost like they go, is this it? The party's over. I didn't think marriage would be like this. Or I didn't think kids would be like this. Really? Really? How dumb are you that you can't see cause and effect? You can't see that having kids is going to change your life immeasurably. I just thought life would continue. I just had a kid. What, like you just bought a pair of shoes? You need to find this stuff out with people in the initial phase. You can't just say, well, yeah, maybe it'll work out. Let's not talk. Let's let life just work it out for us. Like, no, you need to be very consciously talking about, like, you need to interrogate the person to reveal who they are, so then you feel comfortable. Don't hide it and hope that magically it just works out. I think, yeah, I'm just belaboring the point, but you know what I mean. Jay Wickham says, what philosophical texts do you draw from? Some philosophical texts, some Stoics, but mainly from novels. I think some of the best philosophers are really good writers in novels. I actually think Dostoevsky is a really good philosopher, even though he's seen as a writer. I think he's one of the best philosophers. Feral Male said, I did specify unreliable supercar, the one that breaks down after every other time you take it out for a spin. Yeah. Channel 1800 Dumb, thank you for the super chat donation. He says, oi, 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 from across the ditch, human bro, keep it up, mate. Thank you for the donation, I appreciate it. He's from New Zealand. I don't know about this. Again, live the life you want, guys, but just the guy says, buying a Corolla is more expensive than renting a supercar every other weekend. That's true. You get a nice thrill. I can go and purchase the best high-quality Escort every couple of weeks, every month, right? The best of the best. Physically appealing. She'll say whatever I want it to say. She'll act how I want. And I can sort of be in that moment with her for an hour or two or a day or however long I rent her. But what do you want from being with a woman? If it's just the body, fair enough. But I don't value women's bodies that much as much as you guys do. Like, I valued them a hell of a lot more when I was younger. But if I'm going to be with someone, again, I value more long-term stability. Yeah, I do value the intimacy and sleeping with someone, but that's not at the top of my tree. Every woman's got one. Like, guys think it's rare. It's like, yeah, you can rent that. You can rent the thrill of a supercar. And I know it's expensive. But yeah, look, it's what you value, what you want to spend your time and money on. Again, I'll leave it up to you guys. All I want is guys to think about who they are and what they want, and how much of their time, effort, money, and all that they're giving up and they're paying for. There's no free lunch. T-Dog says, Human, you mentioned how it seems counterintuitive that people respond better with someone has the courage to meet others without being perfect first. Why do you think this is? I think people find it refreshing where someone's just open and real, because so many people do the act. You know, the dating gurus, like, everyone starts to sound the same. Everyone spits out the same lines. You read the comments in the comments section. Just read the comments in comment section here or anywhere. They're all things you've heard all the time, or they're very plain or boring. And then all of a sudden you read someone where you hear their personality come out. They're being honest. They're using their words, like, consciously answering this really important thing. They're being very particular. There's a person that's being open and honest. And I think people intuitively can sense and hear and feel someone who's being open and conscious in that moment and telling you how they feel and who they are. That's rare. And I encourage guys to be more that way. There's no way I could, like, think about how I'm doing these streams, that, like, I'm enjoying spending time with you guys, thinking about these things, answering, like, you know, expressing who I am, telling you what it is to sort of who human is, who's being alive right now, like expressing who you are as being alive. is great, rather than sort of being lifeless and just spitting out memes as time passes you by. David Pine, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it, man. David's a long-time subscriber and commenter, both here and on Instagram. Elusive Man says, my college roommates played stupid, dangerous games with women. I cringe every time the memories resurface. Yeah. For a lot of guys, they drink a lot, drive fast, they're very reckless, but and sometimes you can get away, you can dodge those bullets when you're young, and you can look back on it and feel even more alive, going, I can't believe I survived that. I dodged the bullet. But the probability that you're going to continue to dodge bullets if you keep doing the same things when you get older approaches zero very, very quickly. It almost becomes there's no chance. It's like almost an inevitability. Traban T says, you mentioned a mask of stoicism earlier. Care to elaborate? I didn't fully watch what you were saying. I can't remember exactly how I said it. I can't remember what I said. Sorry, Traban. Thank you for everyone that's come on today. Remember, if you want to ask a question, let's wrap it up. Put some. I didn't even get to reading some of the comments under the video today. You guys have been asking a lot of really interesting questions in the live stream, which has been good. But I think the last couple of videos really, under the comments, go read them. There's been a lot of really interesting and good comments from people. And so there's been a lot today as well. So. Corey Chang says, would you date a woman online just chatting? Therefore, would you be interested in having a long distance relationship? It would have to be a very, very interesting and special woman. Just the guy says men who haven't developed emotionally or emotional defenses are the ones who settle for compatible pain, plain Jane, because they'd be devastated by a bad breakup. Yeah. A lot of guys, it's kind of like they it's not so much they lower their standards, they make their standards so plain that it has almost nothing of interest to sort of keep it as safe as possible. You are better off just being on your own then. Elusive Man says, I interrogate women like a criminal profiler. You should. I always found it interesting, like on dates, if I could sort of tell they found it fun or interesting, or sometimes even beforehand, would be to give them those relational psychology tests that would indicate where their values lies, or sociopath tests. Hopefully they haven't heard of them before, because there's like, I remember once I went on a date with a female, and I posed one of the psychopath tests, and she answered it in a way that showed she wasn't a psychopath, but she had heard it before. She let me know later. So she was actually lying about it. So be very careful. So ask a lot of stuff, be observant. Don't just take one answer as, oh, locked in. Yep, she's the one. Ah, got an itchy back. Any final questions, guys? If you have any final questions, put them in the live chat to the right with a whole bunch of emojis. I'll read some comments from the last few videos. Under my video is Love Just Luck. Karu left a comment. He said, as with most things, the problem is a lack of honesty. When it comes to what you know or should know, most guys have no idea how the ideas that they constantly use as platitudes came to be. Not their origin, not the thought process that led to their formulation, and definitely not the environment in which they came to be, and definitely not how they need to evolve with the current state of affairs. They don't know how the divorce statistics are calculated or what the flaws with the methodology might be, and so on. Yet I'm willing to bet that if you scroll down the comments section, you will find cliches like, quote unquote, it's just your turn, or she's not yours, something about cat ladies, etc. When it comes to yourself, as much as men in plural don't like to hear it, sometimes it is your fault. Sometimes you need to take a shower. Sometimes you're completely wrong about something. Maybe, just maybe, we're not as intelligent as we'd like to believe. He continues, the amount of times I will hear a sob story only to find out later that the guy had some form of addiction or some obvious flaw that no one in their right mind would accept is way too high. That's important too. Sometimes you hear about the guy's flaw. It's like, man, would you accept something resembling that from a woman? Obviously, everyone would say, like, yeah, that's a warning sign. Yet the people pointing this out are a small minority. And then he continues, about what you can do. It is regrettable that for some individuals out there, it is truly game over. It is important to acknowledge that. Yeah, if it's game over and you're sensible and you're fine with it and you're being very, very mature about it, that's fine. And he says, the rest, however, regardless of their qualities or lack thereof, seem to gravitate towards around two main trends. One, the Chad dude bro and the lack of black PILL, it's all over crowd. In both cases, there seemed to be a heavy dose of dishonesty when it comes to the probabilistic matrix that is the dating market. While the first group gets drunk on their own farts, saying that you can turn yourself into Superman, the other one completely ignores viable solutions. Yeah. For example, ask some of these doomers that complain about their facial structure if they started saving money for surgery and watch the crap show. Seemingly simple problems a lot of the times have somewhat complicated solutions. The lowdown is stop being a moron. And then 572 responded and said, Bakaru, if she can't handle me at my worst, she doesn't deserve me at my half-assed. Some guys are being as bad as Marilyn Monroe, yeah. Boffin Grusky left a comment, all men are potential, you know what, that society says, abusers. As a man, does that resonate with you? It's a favorite among the girl power community. When the men's community delves into nothing more than a set of well-rehearsed chanted aphorisms themselves, you know that there's not a whole lot of thinking going on. Men are all the same. Now test that proposition for yourself. Are all the men you personally know the same? It's ironic that so many men in today's world have adopted a feminine way of thinking, all the while pointing at women and screaming, she's just like all the others. Well said, Boffin. Prince Revolver said, it's not dumb luck about, is love just luck? It's fear and laziness. Guys with this mentality talk tough online, but will never stand on what they truly believe in relationships. Why? Because you're scared to lose something. David P said about the video, is love just dumb luck? He said, being told by friends you can't do that because she won't accept you. Well, if doing that is part of who I am and I'm not hurting anyone, I'm going to do it. I don't need her acceptance. That is a really good way to be. Don't apologize for being a polite you. If you're not hurting anyone, who cares? If the only way to be with someone is to change for them to dominate you, it's not worth being with them. You'll be miserable. Key himself said under the video, is love just dumb luck? He said, human, I think you're taking it too serious when they say they allow women, all women are the same. Obviously, no one thinks that literally. Really? The way some of them talk, I think a lot of them do. He says, but nature is nature and nature is nature as nature is nature. Meaning, if you're in a relationship as a man, chances are you're not only in that relationship to produce, you're only in that relationship to produce for her. Can we really say that this is an irrational way of thinking? When I was young, I asked myself the exact question, do I want to commit my life to making another person's life easier? Yeah, but is she committing to making your life easier too? It's not. What is a relationship? A relation. When I talk about relationships, I talk about that tennis match all the time. Yeah, don't be with someone who's a one-way street. I agree. But again, it's far better to be alone than accept the norm of one-way relationships that women expect. Advertising said under my video, why people say relationships are hard work. He said, how do you know there's compatibility? Simple. If you don't feel dreadful when you hear the garage door open. Yeah, you don't feel dreadful when she's around you or when you have to go to her house, when she comes to your house. When you feel actually better being away from her. Be honest with yourself. Haha Messiah Comedy says, the hard work for a relationship is finding someone compatible who will consider you. Yes. Most women don't. Women just care about what you can give them and how you can make them feel. As Basfiz said, most women, doesn't matter what they say, you know, in one of his recent videos, he said, women dating coaches go on about, like, you know, women like confidence, women like this, women want this, 10 ways to attract a guy. At the end, it doesn't matter. She just wants to be special. That's all they care about, make her feel special. It's just one-sided for most women. They don't want to make anyone else feel good. They just want to be made to feel good. And when they get bored of that, when you've emptied your tank of making her feel good, she'll look for some other source, just like a narcissist does. Linda H, under my older video, Ultimatums and the Importance of Defending Your Values, she said, I noticed that many women can be quite pragmatic, even ruthless about securing or nailing down the closest relationship in their lives. Human, you are critical of your former partner's insistence that you move forward as a unit towards one or more meaningful goals, yet it's understandable that a partner would want this. I'm not saying that you don't need to move forward, but the important thing in your statement, Linda, is that towards you move forward as a unit. That's the thing, as a unit. My partners didn't care if we moved forward as a unit. They just wanted what they wanted, and it was their relationship. I was a passenger that just didn't want to tag along. I was a person that just did things for their relationship. I have nothing wrong with, like, moving forward, sideways, or sitting still as a unit, but it's the unit thing that's important to meaningful goals. I agree, but you even said it. Moving forward as a unit. When it's not as a unit, that's where I have a problem. War Clan said, under my video, why people say relationships are hard work. He said, you talk about compatibility. You have to look at the past and the previous generations. In many cases, compatibility was not in the rule. The real reason is reproduction and the creation of a family. I agree. That's how it's always been. Like, at base, at biology, that's what the function of being with a female, of being intimate with her is. Women prefer hypergamy over compatibility, and that is the rule. Men look for different things. That makes their objectives incompatible. The rest is just bullcrap discussion, starting from women and men think differently. Look, the biological, I know what the average biological man and average biological women, why they're here. The point is to reproduce and further the species. The point is to survive. I know the way we naturally react, but I'm talking from a more evolved, civilized, philosophical point of view. The point we're communicating through these advanced instruments in society, like the internet, we write books. The differences, the way we organize societies, and the way we try to to cooperate as men and women in society. We're different from other animals. So you can't sort of say we're just animals, so forget it. Look, I might be wrong. I might be too philosophically inclined. I might be wanting too much more control in my life than you think is possible for a, just an animal human being, but that's the way I am. But I don't really disagree with a lot of what you're saying for War Clan. I just choose to stubbornly make my life different as much as I can. I just don't give in to whatever. Sorry, I can't. I also wouldn't enjoy much in my life by the stubborn insistence of my will. If I just went along with whatever, do you really think I'd produce all these videos and do all this stuff? Moneyline Parlay, under my video, Why People Say Relationships Are Hard Work, he says, relationships are hard work when one person wants out, usually the woman. Try moving a couch by yourself. Now try it with another person, see how easy it is. Yeah. You should make each other's lives better. Or you're compatible, and then your lives don't kind of really fundamentally change. They just improve by a great degree. It's just easier. Like you said, move a couch by yourself, move a couch with another person. It's much easier. 572 left a comment. He says, relationships are by their fabric individual and intensely specific to you and the person you're having them with. Having a broad understanding of the human condition and people's nature is well and good, but if you're approaching relationships as blank, featureless templates, you don't get to whine when a woman treats you like an automation. That is very well said. He continues, you're the one who showed up and acted like you, her, and all your interactions were printed in some book press with 7.9 billion other copies. Getting upset because that's exactly how she reciprocated makes you a fool at best. Interact with the individual. Yes, yes, yes. And that includes you. If you think the only way you can have a relationship is for one of you to zero out your individuality, that's not a condemnation of relationships at large and proof how all women act all the same way. It's an admission of your own inability to hold onto your personality and sense of self in every way that matters. That has got to be probably my favorite comment under Is Love Just Dumb Luck? Please read that. I wonder if I've pinned it. I've got to remember to pin 572's comment. That was a brilliant way of describing basically what I was going on about in that video. And Kara responded to that, but who will ever admit that the individual sucks? Themselves or the other woman? If you won't admit your flaws and demand a good standard for your individuality, then of course you're going to accept any woman and you're going to treat them all as every woman. You're not going to care about your woman that you want. The Craziest Fox said, under the women, is love just dumb luck? He said, love is not luck. Love is a lot of hard work and it doesn't get easier. It gets harder. But with every increasing payout, the initial meaning is luck. But even though such meeting is improbable, the probability is not fixed either. Yeah, I think the initial moment is luck, but also your initial internal work, like seeing who you are and what you want, that's hard work too. But if you focus on that and do the hard work on yourself, everything afterwards is hard work. But if you don't do any work, everything is hard and chance, and you get pushed around and treated like a piñata. And the Crazy Fox continued, he said, my previous girlfriend was in a lot of ways my opposite. I thought she would complement my personality, but it didn't work out that way. Instead of mutual support, the differences became sore spots. The current girlfriend is in many ways like me, and suddenly everything seems effortless. Yeah, amazing, isn't it? When you find someone that's like you, that's compatible, that's easy, where you don't have to work, where you don't have to fight. It's amazing when you find that, isn't it? Just like your friends and family. Or you find a hobby that's effortless and enjoyable, that there's very, very little downsides. There's very, very little bad days. Wow. Who would have thought the logic that you find something compatible that fits with you, that it would be so good? he continues, although maybe it's not a question of personality, but of communication. I've gotten used to discussing issues at length with my significant other. Yeah, being open and honest and communicative is important as well. Like it's essential. You can't read each other's mind and pretend a fiction. Otherwise, you're still having a relationship only with yourself and the unspoken things that you fictionalize the meanings to. Like you have to be an open book with a person. I've gotten used to discussing issues at length with my significant other, preventing problems before they appear, yes, and settling disputes before they fester. I can't imagine a working relationship any other way, neither can I. But it seems we are very alone in our social circles in solving problems this way. Very well put. A place of wisdom under my video is love just luck. He says, I've been saying this about guys who lament that women prefer chads. Then in the very next breath, they will say that they now just pump and dump. So if you don't get the relationship that you want, you just abandon your entire value system. There's nothing alpha about becoming the lowest common denominator in order to maximize your body count. Well said, place of wisdom. Let's read that again. If you don't get the relationship you want, then these chads and dating coaches, you just abandon your entire value system, what you know is right and just and fair, that everyone can agree on. So there's nothing alpha about becoming the lowest common denominator in order to maximize your body count. You're just an animal. You are. I can't read this next person's comment because it's in Cyrillic. I think it's somewhere in the Balkans or Russian. Under the video, How I Move On and Feel Better, he said, even worse, the past only feels real. Your memories are subjective and they change over time. Also, your perception of events and people depends on your current emotional state. Living in the past is just fading yourself away. I agree. Pure Male said under that same video, I prefer the Buddhist philosophy. Do you miss the past? Good. That means you enjoyed it. That's a great optimistic way of looking at things. Look at the past in a positive light. Well said. Quasimandias said under How I Move On and Feel Better, he said, every day there is something you experience for the last time. Yeah, cherish it. Enjoy it. You know, don't take it for granted. He continues, for good or ill. Being conscious of this reality makes life more precious. Well said. And Greg A. Johnson, 1985, said, if you keep looking backwards, you'll start walking there. It's a really nice philosophical or poetic way to look at it. If you keep looking backwards, you'll start walking there all the time. Great comments on the last couple of videos, guys. Really, really good comments. Now, the main thing I'm proud of in my channel, like I'm proud of, like, say, the work I've put into it, but I'm really proud of, like, the quality of you guys in the comment section in general and how you guys maintain it and police it, and really kind of when there's guys trying to be trolls, like they get bored very easily because you guys maintain a really honest discussion that goes on in the comment section. So thanks to a lot of you guys. Really, really good comments the last few videos. Encouragement for me to keep pumping out videos in the same direction and in the same and similar way, especially if it's going to generate this level of really helpful discussion. Just the Guy says, I would go as far to say compatibility is irrelevant. I just think it's not very realistic to expect or prioritize that in a romantic relationship. I have to disagree with you, Just the Guy. I really do. I've lived much of my life thinking that, and it's freeing. But at some point, I was rinsing and repeating, and I just didn't have the time to keep rinsing and repeating female strangers like that. I started to prioritize long-term and stability, and because I just realized a lot of the stuff that I really enjoy in my life is long-term. The time I need to sort of develop skills or enjoy something, a hobby or whatever. Relationships for me, I get the most out of them when they last longer, when they're long-term. Everything else is just like thrills and entertainment. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're kind of honest about it. Like, again, live the way you want, Just a Guy, and have your own moral philosophy. But just as long as you're honest about the results of what you're getting and you're happy with it, that's fine. And if you can sleep at night, that's fine. Anyway, guys, I think we've gone on for long enough. And we've been going on for, let's see, I'd say nearly 2 hours. Let the screen reload. I am boiling. It's really hot. Yeah, it's an hour and 50 minutes. Let's wrap it up. I usually try to aim for between an hour and a half. Sweet spot. But it's been a very, very good discussion, guys. Shadow Ghost, thank you very much for the super chat donation. I appreciate it. Very, very much appreciated. Hit the like button, subscribe, guys, interact, comment. Otherwise, if you don't actually touch the screen in some way, so to speak, YouTube assumes after a while, well, you know, they're a ghost account or something, and they kind of kick you off. They force you to interact. So it's just the way it is. Sorry. So any small way you can interact with my channel. Give me a dislike if you don't like the video, please. Doesn't matter. But yeah, any way you can interact is helpful. Obviously, liking and subscribing. Look, you can't do anything about someone changing your mind. Like Yitz89 says, what if a girl tells you she no longer thinks you're compatible? Too many differences. I think if you're honest, if you're patient and spend enough time, a long time in the dating process, they're getting to know you. If you're not rushing, if you're rushing in relationships, I'd say that speed, that underlying anxiety of like being impatient and wanting the relationship to progress really quickly, might say something about you. Like you need the time for things to, just like wounds need the time to heal. You can't rush it. You can read as many self-help books, but like time is the biggest healer. I think time is also the biggest helpful thing at the start of a relationship too, to get your sense of like, you can't trust the person immediately. Trust takes time. It needs to be earned, and earning that trust suggests time. So I would also ask, why do you need someone who says like, I'm not compatible with you anymore? I would question whether they were at the start anyway, or whether they were just acting or being agreeable, whether they were being honest, and if you were ignoring a lot of stuff, or you weren't interrogating them to make sure. Bradle says, compatibility is not being the same. In my view, it's zero sum. Equal parts dominate and submissive without moving metrics based on the situation. Yeah. Or as I was speaking to with someone last night, like we were talking about sort of dominance and submission, and really, I think a good way to frame it is roles. You really believe in your role as a guy or a girl, and you're proud of it, and you want to contribute that. You don't want to offload and do nothing. You want to proudly contribute and give and be involved in this tennis match, the relationship. You don't want to be a zero. It's not a one-way street. So you believe in your role, and you want to be in charge of it. You want to give. You want to show affection. You want to provide maintenance. You want to care about the relationship. So you're not a zero. You're a contributing member. And I think in an old-fashioned sense, the worst thing we've done now is get rid of gender roles. Gender roles was a really good way of not muddying the waters and being lazy and going, oh, we both do the dishes. I don't feel like it tonight, so I'm going to like dominate the other person and make them do more of the work when I'm lazy. It forces you not to be lazy, and it forces you not to be a coward, and it forces you to stand up and be responsible and proud of something. Because being proud of something feels good. We don't always feel like doing it, but sometimes when we do it, we feel a lot of pride afterwards, and we're glad we did it. I talked about not looking forward to my surgery next week, but I know I'm going to feel proud and better once I do it. We don't want to do a lot. A lot of times we're lazy and resist doing the right thing, but we know that contributing and being responsible for our role in a relationship, we know it's the right thing to do. At least I think that anyway. One Green Mitzi says, no, human compatibility is not required to form a family. I would disagree. Compatibility is not required to have children. I agree. But compatibility, I think, is required to have a good relationship and is required to raise children properly, much more than just kind of rolling the dice and saying, well, biology, like, let's just pop out a kid, done, on to the next thing. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up. It's nearly 2 hours. It was a really good chat. I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate all you guys who donated. It really goes a long way. I put it back into the channel. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, interact with the video. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down if you like. And I will see you in the following week, hopefully with a few more videos before my surgery. And given how I am after the surgery, whether I can speak properly or comfortably, how much pain I'm in, I may or may not do a live stream on this coming weekend because my surgery is on Friday. So we'll see how things go. Thank you, channel 1-800-DUMB. He says, hey, what surgery, Hugh? I'm having my 3 front teeth removed because I've got a very worrying infection that's forming at the base of the roots. And so basically I'm going to get sort of them removed. That needs to heal over 3 or 4 months. So I'm going to have like a plate of my final teeth put in as a temporary. And so that 3-month period is going to be kind of very uncomfortable. I don't know how I'm going to speak. So that might affect me making videos. Daniel McDonald said, hey, human, you're too good. I left my home and live in my van full time and work in another state just so I can get out and explore. The combination is paying down the mortgage and playing music. Good for you, Daniel. I hope that works out for you, especially if you're younger or you can afford to do it, or the only thing stopping you is fear. Take these little adventures in life where really you can do it. You know, life is not going to be over. In fact, it'll probably improve if you take this little risk, get out of your comfort zone and do something that you've always wanted to do. So, yeah. As I always say, like, the goal of my channel is getting guys to think better and be more honest about how they're going to enjoy their lives and not sort of, you know, try to attach themselves to some sort of religious gurus and pick-up artists and things like that. Because then you're just going to become a cookie cutter guy. You're going to get cookie cutter women. And both of those people out there, they're not fun. All right, guys, I'll see you guys later. Enjoy your week, and I'll see you in a few more videos this week. And if any of you guys want to continue the chat, jump on Discord. A few of us will be on there. If you've got a microphone, I'll catch you there. Otherwise, I'll catch you during the week. Bye.